So I see tZERO or the tZERO token as my kind of like my second chance. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Ignorant Money Club. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how I've been doing with my $10,000 investment that I made in the tZERO token, aka tZEROP, back in June timeframe. And I'm also going to be telling you how I believe this investment is going to work out for me for the long term. But before we get into that, please remember to smash up that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that notification bell so that every time we put out our updates and new videos, you can receive the latest and greatest from us. All right, so back to tZERO. For everyone that keeps up with all of my videos and all of my content, you know that I invested $10,000 in tZERO or the tZEROP token back in June timeframe. All right, so let me just give you a quick breakdown where this $10,000 came from, because at the time I didn't know too much about the company and I wasn't just about to take $10,000 out of my pocket. So the $10,000 came from the airdrop that Overstock had. Overstock gave an airdrop. What essentially this airdrop is where they release free shares of their OSTKO digital security token to Overstock shareholders back in like May time frame. It was after the ex-dividend day. So when they gave that airdrop, anyone who's like in the blockchain space, they'll know what an airdrop is. It was essentially like these free shares of digital security tokens that were worth something. And when I first got them, I think they were worth like $8 or $9. So, you know, I'm like, wow, I just got an extra $3,000-$4,000 dumped into my account, because at the time I think I got about 337 of them. So I'm like, cool, they were in my Robinhood account. And the only way you could trade these security tokens is if you transfer them over to the Dino ATS, which, you know, tZERO operates off of. So I just held them in my Robinhood account for a while. I was like, let me just see what this thing does. It went down as low as like $6, $7, and it kept going up and stuff like that. So it got about 15, and I was like, you know what? This has some volume, it's moving, it's fluctuating and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and move this over to the Dino exchange, because if I ever need to liquidate this, then I need to have it over there. So anyways, long story short, it ended up getting up to $30-something at the time that I liquidated it, and I ended up getting roughly around $10,000, a little over $10,000 once I liquidated my OSTKO preferred digital security tokens that I was airdropped. So that is where I got the $10,000 from. Now, during the same time period, I was already slightly invested in tZERO. And I was buying a little bit at a time, and I think I maybe had a couple of hundred tokens, and I just saw like, wow, like, you know, within a week's time period, I think I started buying in like $1 and some change, and it had almost doubled, almost tripled my investment, my initial investment. So I was up like, you know, $1,000 or so. So at that point, I was like, okay, wow, this thing must has some real potential. So I started doing more research, and come to find out, the people who initially bought into tZERO, they paid like roughly around $10. You know, nobody paid nothing less than $6 to be able to get this security token. So I'm like, okay, if I'm buying it at $2, $3, that's like a steal. So I just started doing more research and understanding the company more and more and what their goal was, and like, okay, this thing is going to be like NASDAQ 2.0. This thing is going to, you know, be that, it's going to be that thing that basically sets the standard for blockchain and, you know, crypto and just traditional stocks and security tokens, being able to kind of blend and merge all that stuff together. So I started getting all geeked out and, you know, loving what they were doing. So I took that $10,000 and I invested all of it into the tZERO token, aka tZERO, at one time. And I think I bought in at like $3.94. So that was my average at the time. I had like a $3 high 3 average, and I received about 3,000-ish tokens at the time. It wasn't too much. So I was super excited. And then like later on, I saw this thing like pretty much, you know, it went down a little bit. And so I'm like, oh man, I may have just bought in at the wrong time. But no sooner than later, I'm like, okay, this thing has to have some crazy potential. Let me not pay too much attention to the price points. So it wasn't until like July, August time frame where I saw this thing go from like $3 to pretty much $9 in that same month. And it was like a couple of weeks. So I'm like, oh my God, like my money, I'm talking about my money had almost, you know, I was up like 170, 180% on that initial $10,000 investment. Now that's crazy to only invest $10,000 and you've already made like $15,000. So at that point, I realized like this is going to be a long-term investment. This is something that I can count on for the long term. So at that point, I started pulling funds from everywhere. I'm trying to figure out everywhere I can go get some money from. I'm like, I gotta get more, I gotta get more. So it got to a point where, you know, of course, anything that shoots up super fast goes down as well. So I started buying back in at around 840 and I was just accumulating slowly and slowly on the red days as it went down. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep buying in because this thing will be past 10 in no time. So to my luck, it kept going down and it went down all the way to like $4.10. That's like the lowest I bought back into it. So I dollar cost averaged my way back down and I was able to get and accumulate another like roughly, I was able to double my position. So I was roughly sitting at about 6,000, 7,000 at that time frame. And then, you know, the greedy side of me was just like, dude, like you gotta get in and you gotta get more of this stuff because like, it's going to be crazy. So I didn't take all the money I had, of course, but I took all the loose funds that I had just sitting around and I was literally loading up. So today I'm at a grand total of 10,000 tZERO tokens. Now, the reason that I wanted to do this, not to flex, not to show off, I just wanted to share my experience. So just give you a depiction of what this is going to look like. And by no means, you know, is this the most in the world, because there's people out here that I know that got like 100,000 plus shares of, or 100,000 plus tZERO tokens. And that is insane. But literally for every $1 that tZERO appreciates, I make $10,000. And that's insane. This thing is making hurdles and it's moving like crazy. So to this day, I'm up $30,000 in my tZERO investment. Have screenshots to prove it if someone doesn't believe it, but I'm up $30,000, which is like 70, 80%, something like that. My total, my grand total of what I invested or how much I've already put into this is like 41,000. So to be sitting at a 70,000, I've seen my account higher than that. At one point, tZERO was like at high 8. So I was up like $50,000 at one point, but this is a long-term investment for me. So I don't get hyped up over the short-term stuff. I know that this is something that I want to hold on for the long term. All right, so this is my plan moving forward. I genuinely believe that with all the news that's coming out, tZERO Markets has already been approved. tZERO Markets will be launching sometime soon. I don't know if it's in 2020, but CEO has already said it's going to be, you know, within the next couple of months. Usually when he says that, it's like a couple of days. But anyways, I see this as a long-term investment. I'm willing to hold on to this for the next 2, 3, maybe 3 to 5 years and see what it does. It's been price predictions going out there. Some people say, you know, it's gonna be 100, be 1,000, be way more than that. Me personally, my goal is $100. I'll let it get to 100 before I start liquidating some of it. Not saying that I will sell all of my tZERO tokens, but I'm going to start, you know, selling off a portion of it once each token is worth $100. And think about that. If I have 10,000, each token is worth $100, that'll make me a millionaire. So essentially I would have made probably like $960,000 off of this one investment. And I really think it can do that in the next 2 to 3, 3 to 5 years, something like that. So That's my prediction on it. That's just me just seeing the value of it, seeing how quickly it moves. This thing it doesn't even have the volume that like these huge companies like Robinhood and Coinbase, it doesn't even have those customers yet, our user base on the platform, and it's already touching 9s and 10s and stuff like that. So I just imagine when it does have that type of volume, this thing will go through the roof. So I don't like to shield anything. I hold it. I'm not trying to convince you to buy it. Go out there, do your own research. I believe in this, and I'm a long-term value investor. I'm not looking for, just everything to be a quick flip. Yes, I do quick swing trades every now and then, but this is something that I truly believe in, and it takes time to mature and get to that point, and I'm willing to hold on to it for the long term. So as I said before, $30,000 profits so far, and I was at like $30,000 profits plus in like a month. It has just been fluctuating around the $7 range, so that's why I'm just being conservative with the number. But if I really wanted to liquidate it, I could have liquidated it when I was up like $60,000-$70,000, which that's not enough for me to pretty much sell all of this right now. So holding it for the long term. Funny story, I had 7,000 shares of Overstock at a $4.88 average back in March. And I literally, had I been disciplined, not got scared, not got weak hands, what they call it in the blockchain space, and held on to my investment, I would have been well over a millionaire by now. But because I did a rookie mistake. So I see tZERO, or the tZERO token, as my kind of like my second chance. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I believe things happen for a reason, and they'll happen when it's meant for it to happen. So I wasn't really tripping. So anyways, I'm glad you all can make it to the end of the video, and you just keep supporting me, and I'll keep putting out the best information that I know and being as transparent as possible, because I'm not trying to flex. I just like being transparent, because you have a lot of these people in the financial industry. They tell you all this stuff. They tell you what they're doing. They tell you how you could get here, and they don't show you anything. So I'm going to be showing you real life screenshots of my profile, because I have nothing to hide. I mean, what are you going to do? Hack my account? Okay. But anyways, I have that stuff to you. So remember to continue supporting the channel. Smash up that like button if you felt like this video was helpful. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can receive the latest and greatest from Ignorant Money Club. Thanks, and you all have a blessed day. Peace.
She bout it, we bout it, all my niggas bout it, I'm bout it, she bout it, we bout it, all my niggas bout it, I'm bout it, she bout it.